Hi, Leo. Welcome to your September 2022 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So, September is a time when the sun is in Virgo for most of the month, and because this is an adjacent sign, this affects your second house of earned income. Cha-ching! And so the sun is there until the 22nd or 23rd, depending on where you live and when this equinox is taking place. So that's a good 3 weeks. And, you're ruled by the sun. So the sun's movements are very important to you and you really resonate with them. Venus goes there on the 5th, and I'm kind of a little bit late to the party this month, but, I'm early enough for the Venus transit into Virgo. So Venus is the ruler of the second house. So this can be a particularly good time to attract money to you. Venus is the attractor. We also have an emphasis on the third house because that's Libra, and that later in the month we have the sun going there, and that's an important transition from sun sign to sun sign because that is the equinox. And that is a power period when the sun goes into a cardinal sign. In this case, we're talking about Libra. The cardinal signs are the doers in the zodiac, the movers and shakers. And so this is supposed to be a time when things start to pop. Just like the spring equinox in March, I should say. And we have the solstices in the summer and the winter, and all of these periods are supposed to be times when things start to really happen. I think about the Eight of Wands in the Tarot, that kind of movement that occurs. So we'll see if that transpires, but I have no reason not to believe it won't. So the Mercury retrograde that is happening on the 9th of September, I don't know if it's going to be on the 10th for anybody, but I know for sure for probably a lot of people will be on September 9th, is going to be at almost 9 degrees of Libra. It will go back to Virgo. So it's going to start in your third house and then go back into your second. Now, what can this entail for Leo people? Because I like to look at the houses that are being affected and what are you rethinking in these areas of life? What kind of things can I kind of draw a connection to? So, the third house can be education at the elementary and high school levels, as well as the media and anything that you're doing social media wise. But I'll just give you one example that might be specific for a Leo person. Now, I know that there is a stereotype of Leo as being egotistical and bragging and things like that, and drawing attention to themselves. This kind of thing does happen because I'm a fire sign too. I'm a Sag. Aries is the other fire sign. Fire signs are, you could say we are self-absorbed because we're absorbed in the self. We're very creative, and we come from that desire to express ourselves. Self means being an individual. And being an individual means that if you have something good that is happening in your life, you feel like, hey, I want to shine a light on my blessings. It's not to brag, it's to show that life can be good. And people can mistake that for being trying to being competitive or something like that. Now, sometimes that might happen with some Leos or Sagittarius or Aries people where they feel insecure and they try to show off by whatever it is that they have. any sign can be insecure, any sign can brag. But the thing is that I do think that fire signs are misunderstood, especially Leos, when it comes to these issues. And where I'm going with this is, since the third house can be social media, you may rethink social media. There might be some event, maybe somebody says something mean to you. And at first you're kind of like it's a slap in the face. And then you kind of think about it. And maybe you even go off social media just because you're feeling wounded, especially if you're Sun in Leo with inner planets in Cancer, like Mercury in Cancer or something, where you're kind of like nursing your wounds, or Mars in Cancer, because you may feel that, or maybe you have a water sign, moon sign, and you're very kind of sensitive, even though you're a Leo. You may go off to kind of brood, but then you kind of see their point of view, or you kind of realize that that's not the right path for you. The second house, when Mercury goes here on the 23rd, back to that Virgo uh, transit, but now it's retrograding. It's going to go back in that second house. Well, the second house can be money, but it can also be self-esteem, self-worth versus net worth. And you may see, I don't need social media to bolster my sense of self-worth. Actually, it's doing the exact opposite, and I'm going to put a stop to it, or at least I'm going to take a breather and try to reestablish, for some people, reestablish a relationship with social media that's less toxic. Um, for other people, this can be about what you're doing for a living. And if you're teaching, you might be rethinking that for whatever reason. How do I want to earn money? With Leo, a lot of times, if you're not being creative, you may feel like you are uh, suffocating. I don't know a better way of putting it, but just feeling that sense of not being able to express yourself the way you really want to. So another thing that's going on is we're having a full moon in Pisces. Oh, one thing I do want to say about that Mercury retrograde, when it goes into um, the second, when it goes back into the second house in that last week of the month, if your finances slow down a little bit, don't be worried, because that's very temporary. Mercury is going direct like October 2nd, so it's not going to spend too much time in that second house. Um, on the 10th of the month, we have a full moon at 17 degrees of Pisces. So, this is the 8th house for Leo. This is a very intense kind of place. This is Scorpio's domain. But this is a fellow water sign. That's where you have it. So it can be a spiritual, some kind of like, even like a supernatural thing could occur, where, because Pisces, can be past lives, and the 8th house can be the dead, like if you go to a seance on that full moon on the 10th, that could be pretty freaked out, because you might really conjure up some spirits. Do be careful about things like the Ouija board. I don't tell people what to do, but do your research, because sometimes people, the 8th house can be the occult, but, interestingly enough, they lump in astrology and the tarot as occult. And I don't, and the word occult means hidden. I don't think those are two disciplines that are hidden at all. But some of those things are a little bit, suspect, and could be playing with fire. So, but this could be something very significant. I wonder if it even could be like somebody making contact with you from beyond. Another thing that this can be is letting go of um, obsessions, or even like shadow work. That's a very good thing because the eighth house is the shadow. And secrets could come out because this is a very secretive house. Um, on the, it's really great for purging, you know, negative emotions and things like that. If you can go to some kind of, yoga nidra event or something like, or a gong bath, it might be really good. So the sun goes into Libra on the 22nd. We have Mercury going back into Virgo on the 23rd. We have a new moon on the 25th. So this is very, this I would say this 8 day period, starting with actually, if you include Mercury retrograde on the 9th, from the 9th until the 25th. So I think that's almost like a 2 week period. That could just be very eventful for the collective, not just for Leo, but for the collective. So that new moon is happening in that third house. And you may, this could be something to do with a sibling, where maybe you have to have a new type of relationship with them that it was hurting your self esteem. Just because somebody is in your family doesn't mean that they're not being destructive to you. So you have to be able to tune into how other people are affecting you, obviously. And if you are in the teaching profession and you are looking for work, this might be a time when you get a phone call, because third house is also communication. So you might start hearing from that. On the 29th, we have Venus going into that house as well, the third house. Also, if you are doing anything internet based, that's the third house. So this is during the Mercury retrograde, though, so be aware of that. If you're trying to do a launch, it might be better to wait until maybe after the first week in October, even a little bit after that. But I don't like to discourage people from doing something if they've already had their heart set on it either. So, do what feels right in your heart. But Venus can bring money, and this could be online. Maybe this is something that you've already launched and you were just kind of like not sure if you should quit it, and that was kind of where you're going. Yeah, I should have mentioned that possibility. So this could be like, just getting ready to throw in the towel, and then you get your first sale. That's exactly what happened to me when I was on YouTube. And actually, YouTube could be considered the third house in the sense of social media. I mean, it's a form of, connecting with people. It might not be like Facebook, but it has its own, social networks. And yeah, that happens sometimes where you just, you're waiting to get your first sale and you're like, okay, this isn't working. I'm just going to throw in the towel. And I got it. I got my first sale, and I think I cried. But if I didn't literally cry, I wanted to. I was almost there. But there were definitely tears of joy. But I was just like, so, you know, I felt like it was never going to happen, and then it did, and that was awesome. So, and then, the thing that I really want to say about that is then I started getting regular sales, and it wasn't like it just became totally there right away. It was still, modest, but it was more consistent. So I knew right then and there that how they say it's all in the numbers, that isn't true. It's energetic, because otherwise, statistically, I would have gotten it sooner, and I wouldn't necessarily get like all of a sudden, I had nothing and then all of a sudden I'm getting it. There was some kind of resistance that was let go within myself um, when I didn't have to worry anymore whether or not it was going to happen, because once it started happening, then I knew that it was possible. But so something along those lines can happen. Also, Venus in the third house could be maybe you join a dating service, an online dating service, Leo. That would be kind of fun. Maybe, possibly. But anyway, that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. I'm promoting my double readings, my deep dive, because they are discounted price as a package deal. Hour of transits, hour of chart analysis, and if you like the tarot, a full-length tarot reading and a chart analysis called the whole enchilada. And I have standalone readings. So please check me out at the link below if you're interested. Take care. Bye.